Welcome to 2-Bit Music Bites with your host, Trent Travis Troy. And now, here's your host, Trent Travis Troy.
Well, howdy once again, folks, and welcome back to 2-Bit Music Bites. I'm your host, Trent Travis Troy. I think I told you last time this one's going to be a fun one because we're going to actually learn to start playing some music. We're going to do a song you all know, Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat. Now, we're going to take it at a frog's walk. We're only going to go that far today, okay? Row, row, row your boat. The things you needed to know to do this are, well, where are your white keys, where are your black keys, and what are they called, and what are half steps and whole steps. If you've been practicing along with Dr. Zloty and his flashcards especially, you're probably getting pretty good at finding your white keys and your black keys and knowing what they're called. Well, now saddle up and we're ready to ride. Row, row, row your boat. We could do that starting on C really easy like, because we know when we're in C, we don't ever have to use any black keys. Let's talk about that for a second. Now later on, we are going to use more than just do, re, mi. We're going to go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And in some schools, they prefer to use numbers, so we could sing that same thing as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. It's the same deal, right? But the point here is that when you start your do on C, 2 black keys, white key on the left side is a C. You put do on C, and we say that we are in the key of C. Now you could put do anywhere, as you'll see in a little bit. There's something special about the key of C, though. The key of C is the only place that you can play do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and only use what color notes? That's right, white notes. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Anywhere else, you're going to have to use at least one black key. Trust me. For now, let's just stick with the key of C. Well, do, 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 re, mi. That's how we'd play row, row, row your boat. So we could say row, row, row your boat is C, 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 D, E, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna write down 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, because if I think of this as 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, then I can start anywhere I want on this whole piano and play the same gall darn tune. Okay, now like I said, you can call it 1, 2s, and 3s, or you can call them do, re's, and mi's. I kind of like both ways for different occasions. So we'll write them both down. Do, 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 re, mi. Okay? And quick as Christmas pie, we got do, re, mi, or 1, 2, 3, or row, row, row your boat. Well, let's say that's a little bit low for your voice. Trent, I need it a little bit higher. Can't we sing this song in the key of D? I'd say, okay. Do, do, re. Oh, wait a second. That doesn't sound right. Why not? Well, I used all white keys, that's why, and it doesn't work. I'll show you why. And it comes back to the other thing you needed to know for this lesson is whole steps and half steps. That's what we got to make sure are right. Well, let's look at do to re here. Is that a whole step or a half step? Well, there's one in between, so half step plus half step equals a whole step. And the same thing for re to mi. Half step plus half step equals a whole step. And that's the pattern you got to adhere to no matter where you're starting. And that's the reason why it didn't sound right when I tried to use all white keys with D, E, F. You know, row, row, row your boat. We got a nice little whole step there, but that ain't a whole step there. We got to make that a whole step. So let's look up here on the whiteboard. Let's make ourselves a couple of black keys here. We're going to have to get it a little bit into 3 black key land too for this example. This example being the key of D. Why is it the key of D? Because that's where we're going to put do, or number 1 to start. we're going to put do right there on D. Remember to find D, you find 2 black keys, and it's the white key in the middle. There's a D. Okay. Now, if we want to go from do to re, well, notice you can always think about what it's doing in the key of C, because you kind of see in your mind's eye where the whole steps and half steps are for do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And if we're going just as far as mi, we only need to worry about whole steps. Whole step do to re, whole step re to mi. We got a whole step do to re is fine going white to white here. Going from that D to E makes it do to re, or 1 to 2, because it is a whole step. Half plus half, 1 in the middle, whole step. But remember, we can't put mi there because that ain't a whole step. That's one of them places where the 2 white keys are next door neighbors, making a half step between the 2. Well, so what do we got to do? We got to bump this guy up another half step so that we got half step equals a whole step going from re to mi, and we had to use a black key to do it. Now, you might remember from last time that I told you that there's 2 names possible for each of these black keys, depending on the occasion. And what that occasion is in this occasion, we got D, E, what's the next letter of the alphabet? Well, that's right, it's F. So we got to use each letter once and only once as we're going in this stepwise motion, as we call it. So even though sometimes this black key could be F sharp and sometimes that black key could be G flat, well, in this case we got to use the next letter of the alphabet, D, followed by E, followed by what's the next letter of the alphabet? F. So we give it the F sharp name. And now we can play do, re, mi, 1, 2, 3, row, row, row your boat in the key of D. Whole step. Whole step. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. Do, 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 re, mi. Row, row, row your boat. Pretty simple, huh? All right, let's try another one. Let's say we wanted to start in the key of G. Well, let's make 3 black keys here and 2 black keys there, so as that we can be in the key of G. And what does that mean? That means we're going to find a G and put do there. All right, how do you find a G? Well, for all of you doing Dr. Zlotti's flashcards, you know that immediately you go right there. Now, I'll coach the rest of you. Find 3 black keys, and you notice with the 3 black keys, you got 2 white keys in there, and that's a good place to remember because that's like the end and the beginning. G going back to A, G, A, G, A. That's a fun one to remember. So there's the G. We'll put do there, and we'll call it number 1 at the same time because it really does mean the same thing. Well, let's follow our pattern now. We're going to have to go whole step and whole step to go do, re, mi. Doesn't matter if it's starting on C, do, re, mi, it goes whole step, whole step. Doesn't matter if it's in the key of D, starting on D. For do, re, mi, it goes whole step, whole step. Well, the same thing here. We're starting on G here, and we got to go up a whole step from there. Well, we could think half step equals a whole step, or we can just find the one that has one little guy in between. Sorry I put number 2 there. Just checking to see if you guys are paying attention, right? No, do is actually number 1. Sorry for the confusion. Re is number 2. All right, and that works because it's a whole step. And what's that letter going to be? Well, G followed by A in the musical alphabet. All right, let's do the next part. Well, we got to go re to mi is a whole step. Doesn't matter if it's here or there. Well, where's a whole step up from here? Half step plus half step equals a whole step to go from do, re, mi. Dad blasted pen ain't working. 1, 2, 3. Let's try that again. Need a new set of coloring pens. Okay, we'll switch gears here. You guys all pretend that's blue. Okay, and we got, look at that. This time, it works with all white keys once again, just like it did down in C, but it didn't in the key of D. In the key of G, we can go do, re, mi, 1, 2, 3 with G, A, B, all white keys, because that's going to be whole step to re and whole step to B. All right, let's see if that works. Let's find ourselves a G, whole step to re, whole step to mi, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, do, 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 re, mi. Good enough? All right, let's do one more. And this time, we're going to get fancy and start on a black key. Okay, I'll make this one really big so you can see what's going on here. Make some big black keys for 3 black key land. And big black keys for 2 black key land. And that should do it for now. Okay, and we're going to go in the key of B flat. Some people like singing in the key of B flat. Let's hear what that sounds like. Do, 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 re, mi, row, row, row your boat. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. That key works for me. Okay, so what does the key of B flat mean? It means that we are going to find a B flat. First thing we gotta do is find a B. If you've been doing your flashcards, you know that your B is right here. If you need a little coaching, you can just follow along, find your 3 black keys and go to the outside white key on the right, and that's a B, but we don't need B, we need B flat, so that means wherever that B is, we go a half step back, and that is B flat. And I'm gonna use my other pen here because that one just ain't cutting it now. Getting a little rain coming in here, so we better get a move on. There's our B flat, but I'm not going to call it B flat. I'm going to call it Do as usual, okay? I'll call it B flat up here just for a reference. Okay, so that is Do, or number 1, if that's your fancy. Okay, well tell me, is Do to Re going to be a whole step or a half step? Think about it. All right, you're correct. It is a whole step. So how are we going to get a whole step up from here? Well, we got to go half step plus half step equals a whole step takes us to Re. Or number 2. Doesn't matter which ones you call it, it's going to be a whole step between them. Boom, Do to Re, which takes us from B flat to our good old friend C. 2 black keys on the left side, that's C. I think you know that by now. Okay, we got to do one more. We got to get from Re to Mi. That is another whole step. So let's go half step plus half step equals a whole step, and that's how we get to Mi. Number 3. For Do, Re, Mi. Okay, and what's that letter of the musical alphabet there? That's going to be D. So, if you're wanting to play and sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat in the key of B flat, you got to start yourself out on a B flat and go a whole step up from Do to Re and a whole step up from Re to Mi. And there you go. You got a B flat, you got a C, and a D that are all whole steps apart, and it sounds right. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, Do, 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 Re, Mi. B flat, B flat, B flat, C, D. It's a little harder to sing. That's kind of why I like singing Do, Re, Mi's, is they come out a little bit more fluently and fluidly, if you will. Okay, and that's about it for today. Now you can play Row, Row, Row Your Boat in any key you want, depending on where you want to sing it or where your friend wants to sing it. Now, I know there's more to the song than this, so next time we're going to go a little bit further. We're going to go Row, Row, Row Your Boat gently down the stream. But that's going to be another lesson. For now, I'm signing off. Trent Travis Troy, and this is 2-Bit Music Bites. Thanks for being here.